never slow up. No, I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness.
They said it was impossible. They forgot, impossible is where legends begin. The morning began like any other, yet the air felt wrong, thick, heavy, waiting for something unnamed. No one saw it, no one predicted it. But when it arrived, the world didn't just pause, it lost its breath. A single post. A black square. No caption. No hashtags. No explanation. From anyone else it would be nothing. From Taehyung and Jungkook, it was an earthquake wrapped in silence. In seconds, timelines twisted in chaos. Instagram buckled. TikTok went white-hot. Theories collided midair. Is it a message? A farewell? A warning? The digital sky screamed, something is coming. And then he appeared. Jungkook. No filter. No stage lights. No armor. Just a boy who had carried the weight of the world too long, sitting in the dim light, staring straight into us. His voice trembled, not with fear but with the gravity of truth. I've been quiet for too long. But it starts with Taehyung. Those words detonated. Across continents, hearts stopped. Screens fogged with tears. The golden magne was no longer the untouchable idol. He was human, raw, breaking the glass between us and him. And then, the line that would haunt the fandom forever. That I feel. That I exist. In that moment, it wasn't a live stream. It was confession. Resurrection. Revolution. The internet didn't just break, it dissolved into sobs, edits, theories, and trembling hands reaching across the void. But Taehyung? He answered with silence. Not empty silence, charged silence. Minutes after Jungkook vanished from the screen, fans saw it, a single liked quote on his feed. Some bonds are so deep, words only get in the way. The fandom erupted. Years of glances, quiet smiles, and shared shadows between Taekook began rearranging themselves in everyone's minds. This wasn't scripted. This wasn't fanfiction. This was real. Even RM, the ever-measured leader, stepped into the storm. Maybe we've all worn masks. Maybe Taehyung and Jungkook were just the first brave enough to take theirs off. The shift was seismic. This wasn't about shipping. This was about truth cracking the facade of an industry built on perfection. HYBE, the fortress, was blindsided. Emergency meetings. Whispers. And then the move no one saw coming. They posted their own black square. No logo. No slogan. Just solidarity. A statement followed. BTS stands for truth, connection, and growth. We fully support our artists. For once, the corporation bowed to the storm instead of trying to contain it. And then came the memories, the puzzle pieces the fandom had ignored until now. A live stream weeks earlier, Jungkook, Taehyung, RM, laughing, teasing. Until RM dropped the question almost too casually. Where are you from? SM? YG? A playful jab on the surface. But in the fandom's ears it was a loaded bullet, whispers of Jungkook's rumored link to Winter from aespa. The laughter was there, but so was the tension. JHope joined in, not with words but a carousel of Taekook photos from years past. His caption. Some truths were always there. You just didn't want to see them. And then Jin with the quietest bomb of all. We've always known. Suddenly it wasn't two people's story, it was seven. A pact. A silent oath now slipping into daylight. And just when we thought the curtain had closed, a leak surfaced. A fragment of an unreleased JHope track. Some truths shine brightest when no one's looking. It was all too aligned. Too precise to be coincidence. This wasn't a scandal. This wasn't a publicity stunt. This was a reckoning. A moment that split K-pop history into before and after. Now the fandom calls it the Taekook awakening. A rebellion made of black squares, trembling voices, and eyes that dared to meet the camera without flinching. And somewhere in that silence, every idol in Korea must be asking themselves, if they can do it, why can't I? Because Jungkook didn't just break the image. He burned it. And Taehyung's silence? That was the sound of freedom. Days have passed, but the air still feels electric. Every scroll, every refresh of the feed feels like standing on the edge of another cliff, waiting to see what breaks next. It's not just fans anymore, it's journalists, industry insiders, even rival fandoms leaning in, whispering. Not about a comeback. Not about a chart ranking. But about truth. Jungkook has vanished from lives. Taehyung hasn't posted a single word since the quote like. And yet, somehow they're louder than ever. On Weverse, an army left a simple comment. "We're here. No matter what." It got thousands of likes. But then one more appeared. Jungkook's own. No reply, no emoji. Just his silent acknowledgement, a digital touch on the shoulder of millions. That single tap was enough to send the fandom spiraling again. Because if words had been the earthquake, silence was the aftershock. Behind the scenes, whispers grow louder. Sources say HYBE's black square wasn't a spontaneous gesture, it was a calculated surrender. An acceptance that no amount of PR could put the genie back in the bottle. A former industry staff member, speaking off the record, dropped the most haunting line yet. They're not breaking the rules. They're rewriting them. On TikTok, edits evolve. No longer just romantic montages, now they're layered with commentary, with clips of other idols looking too long at their partners on stage, with lyrics that suddenly feel like coded confessions. The Taekook awakening isn't just about Taekook anymore. It's becoming a movement. One fan summed it up perfectly in a viral post. "For years we begged idols to be human. Now that they are, we have to be ready for the truth." And then, like a lightning strike in clear skies, RM reappears. Not in a live, not in a statement. In music. He uploads a 28-second instrumental to SoundCloud. Sparse piano. A soft hum. And then, at the very end, barely audible. Some stories tell themselves. No names. No context. Just a breadcrumb for the world to fight over. It's working. HYBE's stock tickers don't dip, they spike. Because love it or hate it, this is the kind of chaos that can't be bought. It can only be lived. The narrative is no longer in corporate hands. It belongs to the 7 men who built BTS with their voices and now, with their silence. And somewhere in a quiet room, Taehyung is probably smiling that soft, knowing smile, the one that says, "I told you one day we'd stop pretending." Because for all the noise, all the theories, all the digital tremors, the truth is painfully, beautifully simple. Some bonds don't need permission. Some stories don't need an ending. And some awakenings can never be put back to sleep. And this is only the beginning. Whatever comes next, whether it's in a post, a song, or a moment too brief for cameras, one thing is certain, the world will be watching. Because when Taehyung and Jungkook move, the universe doesn't just notice, it listens. I'm leaving you with this thought, some truths arrive like whispers, others like storms. This one? It's both. Until then, keep your hearts open, your eyes sharp, and your timelines ready. We'll meet again right here in the next video.